Hey folks, hope you're doing well out there. Welcome back to Integrative Psychonautics. There is a saying in the self-help industry that essentially to get mastery of something is to get really good at the fundamentals, really good at the basics. So with whatever our endeavor is, whatever it is we want to do in life, we want to be returning to the basics and the fundamentals of that skill regularly to be really honing and sharpening and getting a deep, firm grasp of our understanding of the basics of whatever it is if we want to get really good at that. And what I found is that's also true when it comes to personal growth, personal transformation, healing, psychological healing, consciousness expansion. All of these things also have fundamental aspects. And so in light of that, I wanted to do a quick video with you guys today discussing one of the very fundamentals of kind of understanding therapy and healing and transformation that I think is perhaps a memo that a lot of us have not gotten along the way that I think is really important to share with you. So without further ado, we're going to be talking about the role of your symptoms in terms of your healing process or your healing experience. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So as a coach and a hypnotherapist, when people come to me to work with me, invariably, there's obviously usually some sort of an issue that they want to resolve or heal or find completion or improve their relationship to, right? I mean, this is by definition one of the major roles when it comes to hypnosis, hypnotherapy, coaching, psychedelic work. And, usually what I find most of the time, I would say north of 90% of the time, when someone comes to me, whatever the thing that they want to work on is, usually that is a symptom and not the actual issue, not the actual problem. So the major idea I want to present to you up front here and kind of make very clear to you and kind of lay bare at your feet here is the idea that most of what we think of as mental health issues, personal development issues, personal growth issues, life challenges, self-help issues, most of these things are symptoms of a deeper problem that is actually what needs resolving, and what we are coming to the coach or to the therapist or whatever with is usually not the actual core issue. And so this is important to understand. This is a real fundamental thing, because if we're getting confused about what it is that we want to address, and if we are really hung up on thinking that the issue is the problem and I need to fix the issue, right, then we're really going to be misguided in what we're approaching. And essentially you can kind of think of it as like, I'm trying to cover up a wound with a Band-Aid, right? But why is the Band-Aid not healing the wound? Why is the Band-Aid not fixing the thing? Because it's a Band-Aid, because it just covers up what might be a more deep and significant wounding, right? And so I want to kind of just mention a few of the very common kind of patterns or issues or experiences that you'll recognize as being typical, common kind of personal development or therapeutic problems that often really are, I think, worth at least investigating and considering if there's perhaps a deeper issue there than what you're seeing on the surface. So this is something, for you as someone who needs growth or healing or transformation in your life, as a client approaching whoever you're going to work with, this is something you want to become self-aware of and really start to consider, am I actually trying to treat the symptom or am I actually trying to address the real core problem? So some examples off the bat here, and this might be a little controversial for a lot of you. Hopefully I don't see a lot of blowback, but if so, this is what I see over and over. Depression. Depression is often, in my experience, a symptom of some deeper core wounding, stress, issue, unresolved period of difficult emotions in our life, these kinds of things. Often there's a deeper experience and pattern that our system, our body, our entire being has gone through that ends up with the effect of depression. And I think this is often why, a lot of the kind of more pharmaceutical interventions for depression, a lot of the kind of standard approaches don't seem to work very well for depression. I think, depression is a symptom, right? And again, if we're treating the symptom, we're not really resolving whatever the core thing is that needs resolving. So that would be a very obvious big one. Alongside depression, the other big, obvious, very common issue is anxiety, right? Also often a symptom. Usually when I see people who have anxiety that they need to address, it's not actually the anxiety that needs resolving. It's whatever kind of fear, overwhelm, stress, inability, unresolved question or challenge in our lives that is creating a sense of a loaded plate of worry, of fear, of need, of confusion that ends up being kind of at the root of anxiety. So I would consider, if I were you, I would consider, if I have depression or anxiety or both, because they tend to overlap a lot, is there something more deep or perhaps more specific that's actually at cause here? Again, I'm not a big fan of treating anxiety with medication because, again, that's effectively a Band-Aid that's just addressing the symptom, not really dealing with the core issue there. Other common examples, and again, hopefully none of this seems belittling or disrespectful to any of these experiences. I understand they can be really challenging and painful and stressful and hard. But I do think these are often symptoms. Some other examples would be addictions, whether that's, classic addictions like alcohol or, substances, or whether we're talking, addictions to shopping, to video games, to the internet, to pornography, to TV, to what have you, right? Food addictions. Another good example would be really persistent, overwhelming shame. A lot of times people come in and they think shame is the thing that needs healing, but usually there is a deeper unresolved piece that the shame is kind of a response to, or actually a defense mechanism around that needs the actual healing, right? So shame is often, for us seems unbearable and seems like maybe the core issue, but I would say often that's actually a symptom. Another one that I see a lot is overwhelm, right? Just like I'm overloaded, I'm stressed, life is too much, life is too busy. Often this sense of overwhelm is a symptom, not the core issue. There's some deeper core thing that needs resolving there. And another big one that we commonly see, although a lot of people get kind of spooked or defensive around it, is anger. Right. So if we have, persistent frustration, anger issues, upsetness, disappointment, bitterness around life or around people, around society, these kinds of things, again, there's probably a deeper issue, and the anger is a symptom of that issue. And so this is really just the point of the video. I don't have a whole lot more to say than this. I really just want to get you thinking about how whatever it is you're dealing with may be symptomatic and not actually the root cause, right? And consider that if you're just trying to address the symptoms, this could be a huge part of why you're kind of not having the progress that you want to see, why you're kind of struggling to meaningfully resolve this, and there's a lot of complexity to addressing these symptoms, because sometimes even though they present as difficult or not fun or upsetting or frightening or confusing, they often serve a dual purpose where they're also somehow beneficial or a clear communication or a pointer towards what needs healing and resolving. So the trick becomes using the symptom as an entry point to get curious about where the real work needs to happen, right? So I would just encourage you to consider, how whatever it is you're dealing with, whether it's procrastination or, feeling kind of like you have no purpose or no focus in life, persistent anxiety issues, depression, all the stuff I was just talking about. Consider how that might be actually just a symptom and not the deeper issue, not the actual issue. So whatever the thing is that you would come to me or a similar, coach or therapist or what have you for, consider how that might be symptomatic. All right, enough said. I know I've been repetitive here, but hopefully the message is sinking in that this is actually a thing to be aware of, and kind of, again, one of these basics we want to really be mindful of. So hope that's useful. Thank you for watching. And I'll have more videos for you on the way, shortly. I've got a ton of content here that I'm just organizing, trying to really boil it down and make it coherent and effective for you guys. So much love. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.